This video is about the concept of culture clubs. Talk about culture clubs, we're not talking about the famous 1980s band. And if you don't know who they are, you should probably go look them up right now because they're awesome. But we're talking about industry efforts that were designed to organize events, foster diversity, and cultivate an inclusive culture. They started as internal efforts, they became much more public as companies became more transparent. The overall idea is if brands can have a strong internal culture that is responsible, that culture can pass to consumers as well, and that people are more likely to connect with brands that have built a strong internal culture. Brands have always tried to find a competitive advantage, something that sets them apart from other brands, whether the product itself was higher tech than another brand, whether it could help you get something done more efficiently, whether the brand was easier to find for you, or whether the brand had a better price for you. Those are some of the traditional competitive advantages that brands have sought. Now we're finding that brands have sort of nailed these traditional competitive advantages and are trying to find ways that they can use their internal culture to help connect with people who might be interested in that culture as well. So brands are starting to look at their competitive advantage as things like human creativity. Our workforce has a higher level of creativity than other brands. Curation, our brand can develop the content that really appeals to you and what you're looking for. Expertise in terms of the people who work for our brand really understand your life and are willing to go out of their way to have a strong relationship with you. These are different types of competitive advantages that brands are having, and this all translates into this idea of culture clubs. So often brands will now have digital platforms with in culture content that can relate to different groups of people that they're trying to reach. And because they have this advantage of creativity and expertise, this content is curated to be much, much more appealing to different segments of the population. And that can really be a strong competitive advantage for brands. Nike's mission statement, for example, really creates the culture that is Nike. Nike assumes everyone is an athlete and they want to inspire and bring innovation to every athlete. And so these ideas of inspiration and innovation in the context of everyone is an athlete is pervasive throughout everything they do. And that becomes the touch point of all their campaigns. And then this idea of a culture club can be translated into different products and into different spokespeople. So not only did they use Colin Kaepernick as a spokesperson to talk about Nike as a brand and what Nike is committed to, but they used this message to create kind of a rallying cry around believing and following through on your beliefs that expands Nike's presence beyond just the idea of a sports product. So you can think of the different types of cultures they've developed among the different athletes that they have sponsored. So that's our little talk about culture clubs.